Hello, viewers. Welcome to Speak Up Africa, a civic engagement digital platform. My name is Nancy Mtansi Kinyanjui, and I'm your moderator. Remember to follow us on our social media pages. That is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can also sign up on our Speak Up platform, that is speakupafrica.net, for more interesting and engaging topics, and drop your thoughts on the comment section. Today, we talk about entrepreneurship. And I know maybe you might be wondering, to those that don't understand, we've all heard entrepreneurship, but what does entrepreneurship mean? Entrepreneurship is the process of setting up a business, taking it from an idea to a realization. In this conversation today, I'm joined by Samuel Chege, a young entrepreneur that seeks to use innovation to solve various challenges in the marketplace. Karibu sana. Welcome, Samuel. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me on the show.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm fine. Samuel, I'd like you to give you this opportunity to introduce yourself, also tell us a couple of things that you do, some of the businesses that you have been involved in.
Okay, my name is Samuel Kagwe, and I describe myself as an entrepreneur. In fact, I describe myself as an aspiring entrepreneur because I believe that I'm not the kind of entrepreneur that I would consider to be ideal or successful. So I'm just an aspiring entrepreneur. I went to school like everyone else with the hopes of getting employed, but then at some point during campus, you get that bulb going off in your head, and you realize that maybe that is not the path for you. For me, I realized it is not the path for me, and therefore I set out on this new path or endeavor, which is to really just solve the problems around me and hope that the market or the people in my society are going to realize the value of the solutions that I offer and compensate me fairly for the same. Yes.
So what are some of these maybe platforms? You can tell us more about the platforms you've developed.
Yeah, sure. I've developed a number of platforms, but the way I see it, platforms are just a means to an end. The underlying factor in entrepreneurship has to be the problem and the solution. The platform is just a tool that you use to connect those two dots. So, for example, in campus, I had an on-demand flower delivery business, which just sought to deliver flowers when someone needs it, when a customer needs it, especially during the Valentine's period. That is when I came up with that idea. And therefore, I would just do ads on Facebook. And when I find customers, I would rush to town, to Masai Market, where they sell flowers. And I'll just
Yeah. What happened?
someone was calling me. I'll put it on no disturb.
Okay, it's okay. Take us through some of the platforms you have developed.
One platform that I've developed during 2020 was hudumashop.com. So hudumashop.com was a platform that sought to connect service producers and service users. So for example, people who produce services such as laundry, services such as repairs, the not so professional or white collar jobs, to connect them with the buyers. And this was very timely because during that period, if you can remember, the government had set out what is it called? I mean, you could not interact with everyone, you could not travel, and so on. And so I saw Huduma Shop as a very ripe opportunity to help people connect with their various needs and their various businesses. I mean, if you have a wedding and you want someone to do your decoration, it can be very difficult to find such people. And so that idea or that business was born out of that.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, that business failed for one reason or the other. And then we moved to the next.
Get there. We will get there. Yeah. So, Samuel, have you been employed before?
Yes, I've been employed before a number of times, officially and unofficially. I've worked as an accountant, I have worked as a writer, and in many other capacities that may not come off. Yes.
Okay. So I'd like you to tell us, how do we overcome fear? I mean, for people that are employed and they want to move to, and they want to be entrepreneurs, how do we overcome the fear of that shift of moving from employment to entrepreneurship?
First, I want to reiterate that entrepreneurship is not superior to employment. Many people in their head have this notion that starting your own business is better than being employed. No, there's no path that is superior to the other. If you feel like employment is where you feel safe, that is completely okay. And if you feel like entrepreneurship is where you need to go, then again, it's completely okay. Also, the other thing that I would like people to really understand is that entrepreneurship is very difficult. Entrepreneurship is tough. So if you have an employment where you make a good amount of money and all your needs are satisfied, financial and self-preservation is intact, then there's no need of you to go towards entrepreneurship. But if you feel that is the path that you want to go towards, then nothing should really stop you. There should be no fear, because that fear is what, in fact, sets people to fail. If you start with the fear of failure, then you're going to fail. And you need to be prepared to fail, actually. Statistics tell us that only 1 in 100 businesses survive beyond 3 years. And that is really catastrophic. 99 out of 100 people will fail. Their businesses will have failed in 3 to 5 years. So if you want to go towards entrepreneurship, I beg you to think about that.
So I'm trying to understand what you've said, and looking back 2020 when there was pandemic, and also post-pandemic after we moved from that phase. Trying to imagine the kind of problems and some of the issues, the challenges that businesses, entrepreneurs went through. And of course, we've had these conversations, so this and this happened, so many businesses were affected. But I believe in every difficulty, there's always an opportunity. Was there any, in your assessment, were there any positive outcomes during the pandemic and after the pandemic?
Yes, there were very many positive outcomes. Very many people made fortunes during that period. Psychologists and theorists will tell us that you should never waste a crisis, that in every crisis, it bears a lot of opportunities. And we saw it in Kenya through people who started producing masks. And in fact, Kenya became a top producer of masks, and a lot of wealth was generated in that sector. And in many other sectors, even the Zoom that we are using right now, it came to life during that period, because there was that need for people to connect and to speak to each other and to interact. There were very many positive outcomes from that. I think there are even some allegations that the entire thing was made up for that exact purpose, but we can't speculate about that.
Okay. So Samuel, you as an innovator, I believe there's some challenges that innovators face. Would you tell us about them?
Yes, there are very many challenges. Number one, I'll start from the entrepreneur himself. The first challenge comes from the entrepreneur in the sense that people start with a solution instead of with a problem. And when you start with a solution, what you're doing is you're taking a product to people, or you're taking a service to people that they do not really need. And this, then from this stems most of the failures that entrepreneurs go through. The second challenge that entrepreneurs face is lack of capital. Lack of capital is a big problem. That is why startups raise money, and you may hear things like this is the first round, the second round. That is because money keeps getting depleted, and you have to have that support or that runway, that privilege for you to be able to explore that idea, because until you make a profit, it is just an idea. So you need that privilege of capital, of money or funds to be able to pursue that idea until it starts giving you money. The third challenge is trust in the market. Nowadays, everyone wants to say that they are an entrepreneur, they are a businessman, they have this business, but the delivery is where there is a discrepancy, so people fail to trust new businesses. And so as a new entrepreneur, you might find that as a challenge in the market, where you have very good products, you have a very good service, but people are not trusting you. People are just wondering, is this just another player who's going to be here for 1-2 months and then he's gone, and then he goes with our money, or he underperforms, underdelivers, and so on. So that is the third problem. The fourth problem in Kenya especially is regulation. You've heard people complaining all over social media saying that there are very many licenses that you need to take for just one business, and politicians are promising that they're going to compile all those regulations into one regulation that you just need to take out. But that is a major problem, because our regulatory authorities such as KRA, when they find you without such licenses, they are prone to close your business that you've invested a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of emotions towards. So in my opinion, I think those are the 4 main problems that entrepreneurs face.
How do we solve the issue of trust?
The issue of trust is it is both sides. It is two-sided. That you have to be a trusted, how do I put it? You have to be an entrepreneur who can be trusted, or your business has to be a business that can be trusted before you can trust the customers. And you need the trust from the customers in the sense that if you say your product does ABCD, that product needs to do ABCD. If you promise you're going to deliver in 24 hours, then you need to deliver in 24 hours. If you promise there are no additional costs, then it needs to be like that. That is how you gain trust in the market.
You've mentioned capital. I'd like you to tell us what are some of the challenges entrepreneurs face when looking for financing?
Okay, so there are 3 models of financing to any startup or to any business. The first one is self-funding. So this is someone who has worked maybe for 20 years or has got the money from family and so on. And so he has a good amount of money to pursue that business endeavor. The second model of funding is debt-based funding. This is where you can pursue a loan from a bank or from a SACCO or from whatever channel or from your friends. They give you a loan and you promise to pay that loan over a period of time with a certain interest. Then the third, which is the most common mode of funding for startups, it is equity-based funding. This is where you ask for money from a group of people or from a certain individual known as a venture capitalist or angel investors, and you give them, in return, you give them a certain percentage of your company. This means that from the moment that they give you that amount of money going into the future, they're going to be reaping their reward in form of interest, a shared interest in the profits that you make. So those are the 3 models of funding.
Okay. Would you share the lessons that you have learned as an entrepreneur? And also, I would like you to focus on the positive aspects, shed some light on that. Let us see, the beautiful thing about as an entrepreneur, and also some of the lessons that you have picked along the way.
Personally, I would say that I have found entrepreneurship to be more fulfilling for me than employment, in the sense that coming up with an idea taking that idea from just being an idea to being something that you can hold in your hand. For example, right now I've been working on the platform called Bookzetu, which I think I had mentioned. And right now on my desk, I have a lot of books which are just, to be exchanged. And it is an idea that came from my mind, and I can now see it, manifested in the physical. So it is very fulfilling. One lesson I've learned with that is that you just need to keep pursuing the same dream over and over again. The mistake most entrepreneurs make is thinking that fulfillment will come with the first business idea that they get. And in fact, you may find certain people sticking with one idea for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, and it is not working. And while it is important to have that persistence, sometimes you need the wisdom and the intelligence to realize when that solution is not really needed in the market, or the market is not ready for it, and you pivot to another idea, and surely after some time you're going to start seeing some success in whatever you're pursuing.
Yeah. Final remarks, closing remarks, maybe to, there's a student that will watch you and will want to learn a few things. We just want to hear what are some of the, like, an advice that you can offer to students leaving university and they're looking forward to get into entrepreneurship.
Okay, the first thing I'll say is that there's a lot of advice out here about entrepreneurship, about everyone who's a self-proclaimed entrepreneur, including myself. And so you'll hear advice ranging from pursue what you love. Someone else will tell you, no, leave what you love, just pursue what can sell. But I think it comes down to one thing, to these three things actually. You need to pursue what you love, you need to pursue what you're skilled in, and you need to pursue what the market calls for. So those three factors are intertwined. And in that intertwining, therein lies the profit. Something that you love, something that the market demands for, and something that you're skilled in. Because if you have passion, say, in building software, but you do not have the skills and the market needs it, you're not going to gain any profit. Again, if you're skilled and the market needs it, but you don't really like it, you're never going to enjoy that journey of entrepreneurship. So find what you love, but find something that will pay you. It has to pay you at the end of the day. If it does not pay you, regardless of how much you love it, it's not going to be of use to you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Samuel, for being part of this informative discussion. And I know from this conversation, the lessons you have shared and insights as well will really inspire young people who are looking forward to get into this industry. Is it an industry?
It is a mode of living.
So thank you very much once again, and also to our viewers. Thank you. Remember to share your thoughts, your views below this video. And if you are an entrepreneur, let us know the lessons that you have picked in your journey. Share with us. Thank you once again. My name is Nancy Mtatsi. I've been your moderator. Remember to follow us on our social media pages, that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and our platform at speakupafrica.net. Thank you and have a lovely week ahead.